Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Coach's Corner, or the Coach's Corner, as they say in Decatur. My name is Marcus Salette. I have issues and I embrace them, and I want to take a moment or two to share with you what I've learned from my issues, my challenges in life experiences, life wisdoms, life knowledge. And today will be the first day of our 30-day run for More for Life campaign, consideration or journey towards change. And I encourage you also to have a notepad ready, have a journal ready, be ready to take some notes, because this is some serious stuff that we're going to disseminate. And also be ready to also connect with us on our social network page on the website, because we'll be leaving, we're going to attempt to leave daily tips there, because we won't be able to share everything on the air. So thank you so much and welcome aboard. As I said on the intro, this is day one of the 30-day to change, or consideration for change. I like to say consideration for change because consideration of our ways leads to change. As a man thinketh, as a man considers his ways, as a man thinketh, as a man considereth, so is he. So we become what we consider. We become what we think. We're not going to mess around. This is 30 days to change, day one. And in this first day, we want to accept the fact that change is inevitable, and we want to accept the fact that if we do not voluntarily decide to change, change will be imposed upon us. So we can either compliment ourselves now, great job, I'm going for it, I'm going to try, I might miss it, but I'm going to make an attempt, then to not try and then be forced to later. And we all have instances in our lives where we're forced to change. All of us in some way or another. It's just part of the human experience. So for day one, we want to accept the fact that change is inevitable. We also want to accept the fact that we do want to consider running for more for life. We want to consider running for more for life. Or do you? I can't think of a person that I have met, whether in person or virtually, whether in my country or another, whether from my hood or from your area, that doesn't want more. But we must define that we're not talking about more stuff. In day one, we want to put this out on the table. We're not talking about more stuff. We're talking about more influence, perhaps, more character, less compromise on our values and ethics, but perhaps more sensitivity, more character. And so it must be understood that these foundational issues are the bedrocks of accumulative material blessings, in my view, because there's the opposite around us. There are those around us that bring in great results, and you look at them and you envy them, and you know, you don't know what their assignment is either, so but you envy them. The point of the matter is this: just because you see results doesn't mean, in the light of purpose and destiny, in the light of legacy, more so purpose and destiny, that the results is equal productivity. See, we measure things by the outside, and we got to work on measuring things if we want change from the inside. Because even now, as you're listening to my voice, by virtue of the fact that you're listening to the Coach's Corner on a regular basis, many of you listen on a regular basis, indicates to me, and it should indicate to you, that you're more about change than you thought. By me being on the microphone talking about consideration for change means that I'm always wanting to change. Hello, you know, and you're listening, that means you're always aspiring to do better in some area, to take another look. So in day one, we accept the fact that we have to change, because we don't want change to be imposed on us, but we must also accept the fact that there's an element, there's a percentage, I should say, of change that will always be imposed upon us, because that is the human experience. For instance, you know, right now we are all in this race to not text and drive, you know, and I don't know why they're making a big push about it, because the technology, which changes every Thursday, they tell me, will dictate that we talk to our phones and maybe have eye contact with our phones, and all kinds of biological identifiers that will help us communicate. And I don't want to get off on that, but the point of the matter is, while we may be talking about texting and driving now, we might be talking about talking and driving later, you know. Of course, they got the cars also in development now that drive themselves. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to lay something on you today as we move forward in day one. So we're going to wrestle with, but we're going to accept. We're going to wrestle with it, but we're going to accept that we must change. And until we decide that, we will flatline. We will flatline in relationships. We will flatline in financial dealings. We will flatline in whatever area that you're trying to grow in. Will flatline. It doesn't mean it won't. You know, it doesn't mean that it didn't grow or wouldn't change, but it means it hit a ceiling because you're unwilling to accept the fact, and I'm unwilling to accept the fact that change must be. It should be a voluntary step and not an involuntary. We have a percentage. I would say about 28-30% of life is involuntary change as opposed upon you. We just saw the housing market crash, and a lot of people lost value. Hence, a lot of counties and states couldn't meet their budgets. Hence, something gets cut here, something gets cut there. But doubling back for the projected budget to come, I'm already hearing about raising property taxes. Are you kidding me? You just lost $150,000 in value in your home, and in your state or your county or your municipality had to cut budget, and then you turn around and tell me that you're going to have to raise why do they always have to come back to the homeowner and the business developer? And I don't want to say the business developer centrally. I want to say the homeowner is always the central person that they come back to. What's up with that? Anyway, why? Because a certain percentage of change is imposed upon us. You can't help it. But if you live in life on default mode, as one of my close friends say, then by all means you're going to have a negative reaction to that change. You know, a lot of people are showing up at the HOAs and other meetings in their towns and municipalities because you don't need to be raising my property taxes, and I ain't getting no more for the taxes I paid. I'll leave that alone. But to meet budget, they figure, okay, we'll go back and take it from the homeowner or the taxpayer, which owns a home or several homes. I don't know. Maybe you can help me on that. Email me and leave me a note on that. So now on the For More for Life campaign, I want to bring you in on the thought. The first thought for day one is I must accept change, and perhaps, just perhaps, I don't want to say this for sure, but I'm just saying perhaps you can volunteer to change and have, I want to say at least, maybe 60% control of that, 10% margin of error, and then maybe 30% is imposed upon us, maybe more. But I want to say you want to have 51+% of influence on your own life to move forward. So this is what I want to say as you consider your campaign for more for life. Oh, by the way, I meant to say earlier, things are attracted on many levels to us. And keep that in mind. So we're talking about for more for life, the things that perhaps money can't buy, the things that are more in depth, the things that perhaps your father never taught you, things perhaps your mentor might have mentioned or coached you in, or the things that your team in the college journey, talked about often, but you missed that. So what I'm saying, as you consider that campaign for more for life, here's the thing that I want to share with you today. This is thought number 2 for day 1. Thought number 2 for day 1 is, you're the candidate. I'm the candidate. I'm the candidate. You're the candidate in the campaign for more for life on the Coach's Corner show with Marcus Sillett. We're establishing you're the candidate. I'm the candidate for more for life in this campaign. Not only as we approach perhaps a new year, but moreover, a new mindset. You're the candidate. But I got news for you. You're the opposition. You are two, I am 2 candidates in one. I'm the candidate that's running for the party that I believe in, the values that I believe in. I'm that candidate. But I'm also the candidate that opposes the candidate that's running. I know you probably like, okay, coach. In the campaign for more for life, you are the candidate and you are the opposing candidate. There are 2 of you. There's 2 of us. There's you that wants to do better. But there's an opposing side to you that says, I don't give a damn. There's you that know you can do better. I didn't smoke, for not saying me, but saying that a person would say, man, I didn't smoke so much weed to try to erase my pain. If I smoke any more weed, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to get 4 more girls. I'm going to get 2 more girls pregnant. And so you don't want to stop weed because, you don't like it. You want to stop smoking weed because you do dangerous things when you smoke. You have a different flavor, the swaggish. You move from swagger to swaggish. And by the way, these 30 days to change will be 15 minutes, okay? But you are the candidate, and you are the candidate that oppose the candidate. You speak from one side of your mouth of the party that you believe in, but there is a side of you, there's a side of me that speaks. And it is the party that I don't believe in, but I tolerate it anyway. So the opposition is you. The opposition is me and you. But the candidate is also me and you. And I'm going to tell you why as I close. The reason why is, in the whole of life, everywhere I go, turn, everywhere I step, I am the common denominator as it regards to me. I am the common denominator. If I was there If my